England was weeks away from collapse. A Viking army had already destroyed several kingdoms. Cities were burning, kings were dead, and across the land no one could stop them. Only one kingdom remained. If it fell, England itself might disappear. In the 9th century, strange ships began appearing along the shores of England. Long, narrow vessels with dragon heads cutting through the cold sea. The Vikings had attacked England before. They came quickly, raided villages, took silver, and disappeared back across the sea. But this time, they did not leave. Within just a few years, one Viking army would destroy kingdoms, kill kings, and come dangerously close to conquering all of England. So how did warriors from the frozen north almost wipe England off the map? To understand this invasion, we need to travel north, across the cold waters of the North Sea, to the lands of Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark, Sweden. These were harsh places to live. Long winters, rocky soil, short growing seasons. Farming was difficult. Resources were limited, but the sea offered opportunity. The Vikings became extraordinary sailors. Their ships, called longships, were among the most advanced vessels of their time. They were light, fast, and incredibly flexible. They could cross open oceans, sail up rivers, and land directly on beaches. This mobility gave Viking warriors a terrifying advantage. They could appear suddenly along almost any coastline. For decades, European kingdoms struggled to defend against Viking raids. But in the 9th century, something changed. The Vikings stopped raiding and began invading. In the year 865, a massive Viking force arrived in England. Not a few ships, an army. Thousands of warriors landed along the eastern coast. Historians call this force the Great Heathen Army. Unlike earlier Viking groups, this army had a new objective. They were not here for a quick raid. They had come to conquer. Their leaders were experienced warlords. Among them were legendary figures: Ivar the Boneless, Halfdan Ragnarsson, Ubba. These commanders understood something important. England was divided. Instead of one strong kingdom, the island was split between rival states: Northumbria, Mercia, East Anglia, and Wessex. They often fought each other for power, and that division made England vulnerable. The Viking army moved quickly. Their first target was Northumbria. The kingdom was already unstable. Two rival kings were fighting each other for control. When the Vikings attacked, the kingdom collapsed. The city of York, one of the richest cities in England, fell to the invaders. Now it belonged to the Vikings. Next came East Anglia. Its king, Edmund, refused to surrender. According to later accounts, the Vikings captured him. They tied him to a tree and executed him with arrows. Another kingdom was gone. Now the Viking army turned south. Mercia struggled to resist, but the invaders were relentless. One kingdom after another fell under Viking control. Across England, people began to believe something terrifying. that the Vikings might conquer the entire country.
Only one kingdom still stood strong enough to resist: Wessex. Here, a young king named Alfred prepared for war. At first, the situation was desperate. The Vikings had already defeated several kingdoms. In some battles, Alfred was forced to retreat. At one point, he was even driven into hiding. But Alfred understood something many rulers had failed to see. The Vikings could be defeated, but only with a new strategy. Alfred reorganized his kingdom. He built fortified towns across the land. These strongholds, called burhs, allowed defenders to respond quickly to Viking attacks. He also created a new military system. Part of the population farmed. Another part served in the army. Then they rotated. This meant Wessex always had soldiers ready. Slowly, the balance of power began to shift. The decisive moment came in the year 878, at the Battle of Edington. Here, Alfred's army finally confronted the Viking forces. Shield walls formed, spears lowered, warriors advanced. The clash was brutal. Wood shattered, spears broke, warriors fought face to face. For hours, the outcome remained uncertain. But this time, the English line held. Slowly, the Viking formation began to break. Their leader, Guthrum, was forced to retreat. Soon after, he surrendered. The Viking invasion changed England forever. Large parts of the country became known as the Dane Law. Here, Viking laws, language, and culture shaped everyday life. But Wessex survived. And from that kingdom, a new England would emerge. The Vikings had come closer than anyone before to conquering the entire country. They destroyed kingdoms, killed kings, and reshaped history. But in the end, they transformed it. They did not destroy England. They transformed it.